I feel like somebody's playing a practical joke on me now. This like seems so ridiculous. And we have to turn it off, right? Because it's mesmerizing. By the end of this, I'm gonna be like, sold, I need 2 of these. Hey, I'm Sommelier Andre Houston Mack, and today I'm gonna be testing wine gadgets that you can find pretty much anywhere on the internet. They're all designed to enhance your wine drinking experience, but the question is, do they really? I definitely love fun gadgets. I kind of nerd out about it. I don't know what the gadgets are. They're hidden somewhere around here, but I'm anxious to see what they look like. First, we're gonna take a look at some gadgets for preparing and pouring your wine. This is called the Cooper Cooler. It's essential to serve wine at the correct temperature to accentuate or experience all the flavors that are in the wine. When red wine is served too hot or too warm, the wine tends to taste hot. All you taste is the alcohol, and it leaves for a bad wine drinking experience. So we have this bottle of white wine here. It's been at room temperature, probably about 70 degrees. If I wanted to chill this down super quick and fast, I would stick it in the freezer for 20 minutes. The Cooper Cooler claims that it could chill this bottle of wine in 6 minutes. Should we give this thing a whirl? Let's like pop the hood here. Like, no. Okay, so we need to fill this thing with ice. So we have our water here. All right, so now we want to lay our bottle down to the right side of the roller. We want to spin it. I want to see it spin. Let's see it spin. Oh, it's pouring. Now this is fun. If it was, a vintage red or something like that, I'd be worried, but like, sediment flying everywhere, so I wouldn't put it in here. We're gonna let it run its course. We're gonna let this go for 6 minutes, and then we'll check back in. Let's check in. It's like, I don't even know if it's wine anymore. All right, it is emerging from the crypt. Okay, this is pretty cold. It works. It absolutely works. So normally how we do in the restaurant, so the label wouldn't be wet, if we put it in a plastic bag, and then we put it inside of a bucket and we'd have to spin it. It would be quite a bit of time. You would spin it, do all that, blah, blah, blah. It's so funny. And I'm like, can I get 3 of them and fit on the back shelf in my wine store? Maybe that would work. Nah, I wouldn't buy it. I don't think most people would have room on their counter for a one-dimensional device. It just seems over the top, but it does work. Let's get a glass here. Folded some laundry while it was chilling, and now I'm ready, now I'm back. It's chilled. It's not overly cold. I could definitely put 16-ounce IPA, one of those fancy IPAs in here, and let it spin and go to work. But my only question was, after all that spinning, and it's pretty rough, could I open it right away? I felt like if I opened it, maybe that it would just spill everywhere and shoot everywhere. All right, we're gonna do a quick test here. We have a little can here. They actually have a can setting. It's spinning pretty fast. Aha, yes. I have no idea what the hell this is. This is Ulo, wine purifier. Removes sulfites. I don't know why people would want to remove sulfites. Okay, this looks like there's some single bottle selective sulfite capturer. This is where they get you, right? The machine is free. It's the sulfite capturers here. All right, we got a little carrying case here in case we want to take that to a party. This part's supposed to come out. Here we go. So it's 2 separate parts here. We open up our little sulfite filter. So this goes here, and then now this goes back on. 2 clicks. This device claims that it's going to remove sulfites from wine. Sulfites are a byproduct of fermentation, so every single bottle of wine has sulfites. You might run into people who talk about natural wine and about it doesn't have any sulfites, it doesn't have any added sulfites. All wine has sulfites. Added sulfites come in at a later date when you bring fruit in from the vineyard. And the interesting part is people are under this misconception that sulfites give them headaches, and it's really not the sulfites. If you eat a slice of bread, that's really high in sulfites. So it's the histamines that give people the headache, not the sulfites. And a lot of times it's because you're drinking cheap and wine with sugar in it that actually gives you the hangover. But that being said, there's no reason for me that I would use a device to remove the sulfites. Okay, so we're gonna test it out here. Just running through the filter. It's aerating it too. It does kind of, to me, strip some of the joy out of it. I mean, most of the joy out of it. I don't feel like wine you should have to do any of this to it. And it looks like there's a little film on the top here. I don't know if that's like bubbles or something, but let's swirl. Doesn't smell any different. I think the only way to tell is pour another glass. And this is funny, so it totally looks different. And here you have all of this that looks like, actually it looks like the that's in the filter. There's a slight difference, but to me, the difference is whatever's in the filter is now in the wine. The fact that this thing exists is just perplexing to me, but like, I guess there's a market for it. But to me, it just seems like a waste of time and a money grab because you have to keep using the filters, right? It's not a one-time device. My thing is like, drink early, go to sleep early, take a nap, take some Advil, move on with your life. Oh my God, what do we have here? All right, so this is the Zwilling Sommelier. This is known as the drop ring. Voila. When we go to wine school, we're taught to pour wine, and how do you prevent a wine from dripping? Generally, wine will start to dribble down here, but you pour, and now it drips and falls. The correct way to pour a bottle of wine without the mess is we're gonna start pouring, and then you wanna turn and pull up. And so it allows any drips that are coming to fall back into the glass. This device is to prevent drops of wine falling on your tabletop while pouring wine. So you wanna place this around the neck of the bottle. I think it's on there as magnets, and then we wanna pour. And you can still turn, but it will catch anything else. So now the droplets fall here and they're caught by the ring. So this doesn't enhance the drinking experience at all, but I think for some people, it's a practical thing if they don't wanna stain on a tablecloth, but I would skip this. You should skip this. We're gonna take a look at some gadgets to preserve your wine now. This is called a vacuum. This is to preserve your wine. After you open a bottle of wine, this is supposed to remove all of the oxygen out of the bottle of wine and keep it preserved and fresh for the next time you want to serve it. Once wine is open and exposed to oxygen, oxygen is the enemy and it starts to attack a wine and break it down. Exposed to oxygen, the wine will deteriorate within a matter of days and taste like crap. You don't want your wine to taste like crap, either drink it all that night or you should use one of these. You put the cork back in, all it is just locking in the air that's in there. So the oxygen in there is gonna break down the wine. So with something like this, we have these rubber stoppers, and these are inserted into the neck of the bottle. And then you wanna put the pump on top, and then you're gonna start to draw air. It doesn't go all the way down, now I'm like pulling, so it's got some suction, and then we pull off. So this has an airtight seal. It's taking all the oxygen out, and you can put this in your refrigerator, and then the next day when you wanna go back and open it, you can crack the top. These actually work, and this is something that's been tried and true. These are gadgets that you actually see in restaurants. You know, it's been proven in the battlefield. Earns my recommendation. All right, we're ready. Look at this. Aha, I knew it. I knew it. Ah, this is a wine condom. Oh. This is pretty funny. So it's a wine condom. It's packaged like a condom, like a really small condom. Protection for wine lovers. Okay, it's a finger condom. Look at that. This is really great marketing and really interesting. You have a bottle of wine, you don't have the cork to put it back in, you want to use something else, and you roll this wine condom on top here. Got a little hat there. It's like, hold on, let me get the air out. Let me get here first. This is so dumb. Okay, this is so dumb. I see nobody's laughing, right? So you're gonna make me go down with the ship. Nobody's laughing. Okay, this would be to cover the wine, so no oxygen gets in. But then again, we pose the problem that there's already oxygen in the bottle already. And so in theory, I think this would work, but I don't think it would work as well as something that took the air out. So I can see using something like this if you have no class. Generally speaking, like once the bottle is open, you started the clock. Generally what I tell people is put the cork back in it and put it back in the refrigerator. Most people who enjoy a bottle of red wine and don't finish it, they just put the cork back on it and leave it on the table. And that might get you by, but to be safe, all wine that's been opened should be recorked and put back in the refrigerator. I trust a cork better. I wouldn't know if I could turn it upside down. Seems to work. And it's so funny, there's air in here already, right? So from turning it upside down, is it gonna explode? and again, it's getting bigger, right? Oh my God, look, oh, now it's coming out. Okay, playtime's over. I guess pretty decent sale. I think having a wine condom and having that product exist in the pretentious wine world, I think is pretty funny. It should be a place for it. Why not? It's America. Why not? We're gonna look at some gadgets for aeration and decanting. This is called Venturi, elevating your wine experience. This is a red wine aerator. Aerate wine in seconds, not hours. 30 seconds through this aerator is like 3 hours of it sitting in a decanter. Okay, that's what it says. All right, look at that. Fancy packaging. This is a little stand that it sits in. So this is a decanter, and you can use a pitcher, but the fancy term for it is a decanter. And because it has a larger surface to volume ratio than say a bottle, that's where you're gonna get the air breakdown. There's several reasons to put a wine in a decanter. The main reason is for aeration. So a wine has been in a bottle 15 years, 10 years. And basically what you're doing is you're introducing oxygen into the wine to help break down the wine slowly to make it a little bit more palatable. So tannins are these things that are big things that feel chewy, suck the moisture out of your mouth. By letting it aerate and by decanting the wine, it takes away the sharpness of the tannins. And the wine becomes a little bit more approachable in that way. And especially for young wines, you want to decant them to let them breathe. And basically this is supposed to speed up the process of putting the wine in a decanter. You pour the wine in here and it sends it off into 2 or 3 different spouts. It has holes in it. It might go down a spiral, but also you see these holes on the side here. These are air intakes, and that's gonna make it bubble, and that's gonna bring the oxygen in, and then it passes through here. So let's give this bad boy a run for its money here. So we just pour here. So you hear the noise, it's sucking the air in. And it's just introducing air into the wine. And that's that. In the restaurant, we used to do a thing called turbo decanting where we would decant one wine and have 2 decanters and just pour them back and forth. And the idea was to really agitate the wine, to get lots of oxygen in it, to break it down, to make it more pliable and soft. This thing does that. But you're kind of a D-bag if you use it. You know what I mean? Like it's like in all honesty, like, you know what I mean? Like if I was somewhere and some dude pull this out and like pointing, you're like, F this guy. There's something about it, even though it's practical. I'm a traditionalist, right? So like, I wouldn't purchase one of these. I think for a lot of people, we would prefer to just decant it. Wine is steeped heavy in traditions. Think about something like screw caps. It took a long time for screw caps to be accepted in the wine industry. I think technology works, but I think it's gonna take some time and getting used to of seeing these integrated into restaurant service and fine dining service. Next up, we have Uluxti. This is a decanter experienced by 20,000 wine lovers around the world. A little snazzy red color here. This seems to be ready. I think we're gonna go ahead and prepare the wine. I'm like so excited to see what it does. If the lights just change, I'm throwing this shit out the window. You might see me like talking to people, walking around a dining room, just constantly like agitating the wine a little bit. Like to me, like doing this seems a little bit more natural than like putting it through something that gurgles and like people think other people in the restaurant are choking. This might be kind of cool, man. And now we want to push our button again here. Isn't that exactly what I was doing?
Yeah, but you had to do it.
I'm sold. It's gently stirring the wine, rocking the wine, gyrating the wine like this is agitating the wine, introducing oxygen as you see the bubbles that come around here. Man, I sound like a salesperson, huh? It seems gentle, the sound is annoying. Maybe I'm the one that's crazy, maybe we're all gonna have robots, but this is exactly what I was doing. I mean, does it do the job? Yes. No, I just need like a money gun and just like shoot money up in the air. This is ridiculous. I'm done with this. This is called the Spiral Aerator Decanter Set. I feel like I should be in the lab. This looks really complicated and kind of feeds into the whole pretentiousness of wine. It's a decanter with an aeration kind of system set up within it. And this goes here, like that. It's kind of like a roller coaster for wine. When I look at something like this is definitely something that's about presentation, theater in a lot of ways. All right, we have our wine. Are we ready? Make sure everybody has their safety goggles on, right? We're ready to go here. We're gonna pour. It's pretty time consuming, but then again, it's like, this is theater. I think for some people this seems really fun, and this is definitely not my jam, and wanting to be a purist, I would just much rather dump this in a decanter. Maybe this is how they decant wine in the meth lab, It's just kind of like kids hang out, and they just do stuff like this. I'm sure if you went to a village in France where they made wine and brought this with you, they would probably kick you out. So now we're gonna take a look at some gadgets to help you open your wine. La Crusade Sparkling Wine Opener, original screw pull design, combines elegance and security when opening your sparkling wines. Let's give it a go. So we have a little sparkling wine here, a little Prosecco. So this looks like a claw machine thing that comes down. What's different here is that it's kind of sharpened here in the inside, almost kind of looks like a knife. It's supposed to go on the top of this here, and then you can twist and it gives you a little bit more leverage. What is interesting to me is that it's asking me to remove the cage so this thing works effectively. But the problem is you have to constantly keep your thumb on this. So if we take this off like this is where it gets unsafe in this area right here. I'm keeping my hand on it in case it pops. And then now we're gonna take this and we're gonna put it on top. And it kind of has these little knives in it that let you push down and kind of really grip the cork. And then now you just turn and it's got. And I get it, you're basically getting a better grip on the cork and you can get more torque when you're like twisting. I'm a professional, so like the idea of holding this thing and twisting it, like once you learn how to do it and you do it well, quickly, efficiently. For some people, it's hard to twist. And maybe this exists for people who don't really know that you're supposed to hold the bottle and twist the bottle. Never supposed to take your hand off the top. Having to remove the cage seems just reckless in a lot of ways. It definitely won't make your champagne or your sparkling wine taste any better, and you might lose an eye. This here is an electric wine opener. Seems pretty lazy, but let's see how it works. So it looks like we have a little stand here, little electric charging base. We have a foil cutter, and I believe this just sits here like this and charges. Let's see if it works. So I think we put it here like this, and you have to apply a little pressure. You need to hold the bottle steady, and now it's starting to pull the cork out, and voila, we're done. And then you actually press the up, and it injects the cork. Is it practical? In my world, probably not, and that's only because I've opened millions of bottles of wine, and I'm much more comfortable using a wine key. Even for me, opening up 20 bottles of wine with this is like death. It just seems so slow. It's kind of like using an electric pepper grinder. It's a little bit more fun to like, turn the wrist kind of thing. But I can see how this is cool to people and how it would fit into that pseudo wine lifestyle. It works, but I wouldn't buy it. That was pretty fun, definitely interesting, made me think a lot. Do I really need this? I understand the functionality behind them, but somehow just felt like just with a little bit of effort, you didn't need that, and you can actually save your money and spend it on the actual real thing, which is the wine. You shouldn't be influenced or bombarded with a lot of this flux that really doesn't matter. What it really comes down to is enjoying the wine. If you're at somebody's house and they're like, yeah, like my dad is really into wine, or so-and-so's really into wine, and they have one of these, you probably want to leave.